We want to take you to Gaborone in Botswana, where our reporter Irene Muchuma is attending the Africa Tourism Leadership Summit. Those particular discussions are set to reconnect Africa through tourism. Irene Muchuma, if you can hear me, do give us an update of what is happening in Botswana.
Kiptum, good morning. We are coming to you live from Gaborone. The Africa Tourism Leadership Summit 2023 is underway in Gaborone, Botswana, and this has drawn quite a number of countries. As we speak today, at least 30 countries are here for the summit, all with an aim of reconnecting Africa and also boosting the tourism products. And Kenya is well represented. Without further ado, let me bring on board the Kenya Tourism Federation CEO, Susanna, to tell us more about the insight that Kenya is looking for here into the country. Welcome on set, Susanna. Why is Kenya interested in this summit?
Thank you for this. Kenya is interested in this summit because of the partnerships that we derive from such summits. We realize that we cannot work in silos, so Kenya is ready to work with the whole of the African continent and to exchange ideas, to form linkages and networks for the benefit of for the benefit of the industry, especially in tourism, travel and hospitality. We have recently been working with the East Africa region, and it's time now to go continental. We have recently formed a body that is called Africa Tourism Private Sector Alliance, so that we can be part of the conversation, tourism, travel, hospitality in the continent.
What are our key things that we're pitching for in reconnecting Africa?
We are pitching for Africa to travel in Africa, and we're also pitching for making it easy for movement from one country in Africa to the next, because we realize we cannot rely on the international markets to come to Africa, yet we have ourselves to travel to each other. We have diverse product, diverse culture, diverse art, diverse creatives, and we have all these natural resources that are ours, and we urge that Africans can actually use or utilize what God has given us in Africa.
From your own perspective, quite a number of countries participated for the awards during the Africa Tourism Leadership Summit 2023, and quite a number of companies in East Africa performed well. Case in point, in this case, we have the Inua AI, which is dealing with tourism in line with digitization. What is your take in regards to that?
It's very exciting because we have learned lessons from COVID. And when we see innovations like from Inua AI and other that are coming up, and we're very excited because now this is a way to bring our products actually to tease out what we have in each of these countries in Africa, and for Kenya also to showcase its magical Kenya using the platforms that we are creating, so that we give a taste of what they will come and see when they come physically. So this innovation and where we're going digital is very key, and it's time to do that so that we can bring the world, the country to the world, and then we bring the world to the country.
Now that you are the face of Kenya when it comes to the management of tourism matters, the cultural aspect, there is a lot of competition when it comes to the showcase of cultural aspect. What are the lapses we have back home that we need to borrow from other countries in Africa?
Very good question. I'm very impressed by the culture in especially this part of Africa. Like yesterday we watched performances by the cultural groups in Botswana, and South Africa has a rich culture. Kenya, we also have rich culture. However, we have not packaged or we have not brought out what cultures we have. We should go beyond the Maasai culture in Kenya. We have plenty, 42 or 40, even 47 if we can put it that way. So it's time to grow the cultural part of tourism. Yes.
Thank you, Susanna Nduritu, the CEO for the Kenya Tourism Federation. Now, she is not the only one taking part in this 3-day event, Kiptun. Without further ado, let me bring on board the CEO for the Africa Tourism Partners, Kweke Donko. Welcome on set. Tell me the connection in Africa that you are trying to achieve in line with tourism.
Thank you very much, Irene. I think Africa has had a lot of opportunities that have not really been leveraged yet, and we still do have a lot of them. Biggest population across on one of the continents in the world. We got a very youth population who gives us youth dividend. But the problem is we are not exploring our own backyards. For a couple of reasons, cost of travel, connectivity, lack of understanding and knowledge about the product offerings. So the essence of the Africa Tourism Leadership Forum is to bring all decision makers and thought leaders together to identify ways and means that we can actually overcome these challenges that I've just highlighted. So this has been going on for the past 6 years, and every year we always come up with something that basically help us to make a very little leap, a very little progress, but we believe slowly we are getting there. And one of them is what Susan spoke about, is the bringing together the private sector, associations across the continent, establishing an apex body that will basically become the mouthpiece and the voice of private sector in Africa to make sure that we are able to take advantage of all the opportunities and potential, whilst at the same time we work towards reducing the barriers and improving the way that we travel across the continent.
Sir, you've just mentioned about making use of the private sector. What are these initiatives that you're trying to put on board, one that we can maximize on the opportunities in this forum, in a brief?
The private sector owns a lot of the products and the services that are marketed to the world. And the only way that we can get scale to the world is to make sure that we aggregate what the private sector has. The second point is to make sure that we accelerate the narratives around the concept of brand Africa. We understand that there are 54, 55 countries, depending on where you stand. However, before people get to Kenya, people get to Ghana, people get to Botswana, they will first talk of Africa. And in the marketplace, Africa is not positioned the way it's supposed to be, and we believe that the private sector can lobby to overcome the negative narrative, including yourself, the media. You've got a very, very big role to play to help us to tell the good stories of Africa and not getting fixated on the negative side of crime, hunger, and everything. We got a lot of good stories to tell, and we believe private sector, government, and you, the media, could play a major role from that perspective.
Thank you, Mr. Donko. I'll be able to engage you more as the forum continues. That is Donko Kweke, the CEO for the Africa Tourism Partners. And Kiptum, we have a huge delegation here, both the competitors and also stakeholders from the hotel industry, and especially at the coast region. But then there is one company in Kenya that has made it to the final. The reason why most of the delegates from the East Africa are here to champion for the award, the Outstanding Entrepreneurship Award, which has been, Inua AI, a Kenyan-based company, has been nominated among the finalists. And right now I'm bringing the CEO, the founder of Inua AI, Kenya-based, Humphrey Kasembeli. Tell us the connection between digital space and tourism, and first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. So the connection basically here is sustainable tourism. How are we going to make it sustainable? It's very important for us not to lay behind when it comes to technology in the tourism sector. So it's important for us to also evolve our tourism into the digital space. And that's why we're here. There's a lot of opportunities that can be created for our young people in tourism. I mean, we talk about lack of employment, But there is a lot of opportunities we can create that. Now, technology can actually provide opportunities to people in the grassroots. You know, imagine you can go to ChatGPT and ask it. It will give you whatever information you need, maybe back to around 2019, 2020. Can you imagine having that kind of information about, let's say, take a town like where I come from, Bungoma. There are a lot of tourism places, places where tourists can actually go and visit in that town, in the county, but that opportunity has not been provided. Imagine logging in to this tool and you have a budget, and it basically populates to you the location, the activities, and the opportunities for you to go basically see and interact with the local people. It will provide an opportunity for the local people who are selling items, souvenirs, from a cultural aspect in that location. So that's the area that we really want to focus on. Tell young people, the creatives, talk about the innovators, that there's an opportunity that, you can actually move tourism into that space.
Thank you. That is Humphrey Kasembeli, the CEO of Inua AI. Kiptum, I would say there is a huge interest of participants here to be associated with Kenya. Kiptum, Kenya is placed among the best tourist destinations, not only in Watamu, having one of the best beaches in the world, but also the wildlife product, one that is well catered for by the national government. And we are here, and quite a number of people that have been able to associate with from the meetings that we had yesterday. The future is bright for Kenya, and Kiptum will be letting you know as the event unfolds, the one that will come to a close on the 6th, and we'll be looking at the resolutions from this conference. What are we taking back home with us? Back to you, Kiptum.
Thank you very much, Irene Muchuma, coming to us from Gaborone, that is in Botswana, at the Africa Tourism Leadership Forum. And we hope that in the spirit of intra-African tourism, you are also touring Botswana and enjoying the sights there. Of course, the speakers there have said there's a need to diversify the tourism products in the country, just beyond what we have already, to attract more visitors to the country. Irene Muchuma will be filing a story from that particular meeting today in our subsequent bulletins. Be sure to catch her there.